Okay, algebra students, let's learn how to divide with positives and negatives. First, I want to do a little drawing here, and I want you to draw this too. This is the thing that we were talking about in class the other day, how if you have a positive times a positive, okay, or it could be divide. So we can even add a divide sign right there. So that makes like his little nose. Positive times a positive makes a positive. Okay, I want you to draw another face. Okay, this time it's going to look like the person's sleeping. A negative times a negative is also a positive. But what do you think about something like this? What's a positive times a negative? Oh, that's negative. Almost looks like he's got one bad eye. Or what if we have negative times positive? That's also going to be negative. It's kind of like that love to love thing. Okay, I just want to draw that on there because that's also the lesson for today. Okay, quotient is another name for division. Okay, so we're going to be doing division today. So not multiplication, but division. Quotients of negatives. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. A negative divided by positive, if they don't match, the answer is going to be negative. What if I have one positive sign and one negative sign? Also negative. Okay, so the same rule applies. Same rule applies. We cancel two negatives at a time. Two negatives at a time. Okay, so right here, a negative divided by a negative. You find two negatives and you cancel them. So the answer is going to be positive. But today, it's division. What's 6 divided by 2? And the answer is 3. Do you have to put the positive sign? No. You could also just put a regular 3. Okay, let's do another one. This is just like an old problem. A positive divided by a positive is going to be a positive 4. Okay, here's another division problem. There's only one negative, so I can't cancel it out. So my answer is going to be negative. 12 divided by 3 is 4. A positive divided by a negative. Are there two negatives? No, I can't cancel it out. Remember, we cancel two negatives. So the answer here is going to be negative. 16 divided by 4 is a 4. Okay, if you need help with the numbers, go ahead and use your calculator. Okay, now that we know if the answer is positive or negative, we're going to do some reciprocal work today. This is a very important topic. They use it a lot in algebra, reciprocal. To find the reciprocal of a fraction, we switch the numerator. The numerator is the number on the top of the fraction. We switch the numerator and the denominator. Denominator. Sometimes people remember denominator is the one that's down, okay, or the number on the bottom. The number on the bottom, okay? In other words, we flip the fraction. If I have the number, the reciprocal is, I need to make a fraction, but I'm going to switch. Put the 7 on top, put the 2 on the bottom. Okay, that's the reciprocal. To do a reciprocal, we flip the fraction. We switch the numerator and the denominator. Switch them around. Okay, I need you to make sure you study this word. If the test says find the reciprocal, you have to know reciprocal means to flip. Okay, let's practice some. We're going to find the reciprocal. Okay, so I see a fraction, 3/4. The 3 is in the top, but that needs to go on the bottom. And the 4 needs to go up the top. So my answer is 4/3. What if the fraction is negative? Okay. Well, when you flip it, I know the 3 goes upstairs, the 2 goes down there, but the negative sign is still there. Okay? Keep the fraction negative. Keep the fraction negative. Don't lose his negative sign just because you flip him upside down. Here's another one. It's negative, so my answer is negative. I switch it upside down, and I put the 5 over the 1. Now this answer is kind of weird. 5 divided by 1 is 5. So we could write it like that, or we could just write -5. You don't have to have the 1. Okay, either one is good. Either one is good. Here, you can't make the 2 go away, but 5 over 1 is just a 5. Okay, but it was negative. How about 8? We're going to use this trick over here. I need to put 8 over a number that makes it still be an 8. Can I put a 2? No. No, okay, you could put a 1. So if there is no denominator, you are allowed to put a 1. Okay? We can put 1 under any number, and it doesn't change the number. If you need to see a denominator, you're allowed to put the number 1. Okay, now I can start this problem because I need to find the reciprocal. So I need to switch. Put the 8 in the denominator and the 1 in the numerator. Okay, you're not allowed to put a 2 or a 4 or any other number. You're allowed to put a 1. Division rule. Dividing by number is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, that's why we're going to do this, of the number. Multiply by the reciprocal, okay? So this is what we're going to use. It's going to make our fractions a lot easier. We're going to do reciprocal. Reciprocal means to flip. Okay, here's how you do it. You have to take your marker and you have to find the big divide bar. That's a little one. Here's the big one. Okay, and I'm going to write this problem a different way. I'm going to put 3, and I'm going to put this kind of a divide. And then I'm going to say 1/2. So this big divide bar goes into that kind of a divide sign. Okay? Now the rule says dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. You may have done this before in your life. Your teacher might have said, okay, the first number you keep the same. The divide sign turns into the multiply sign. And then you reciprocate, or you flip, the 2 over 1, which is just a 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. Okay? So what are the steps? You find the big divide bar, change it into that sign. The divide sign changes to times, and you reciprocate this one. You leave the first one alone. Okay, we're going to do a whole bunch here until you get the hang of it, okay? All right, example number 9. Okay, find the quotient. That means we're going to divide. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, what do you do to the first number? You leave it alone. 1/2 stays 1/2. Okay, now it's time for change. The first thing we're going to change is the divide into a times. And we're going to change this fraction to the reciprocal fraction. Okay, now how do you multiply fractions? You can use your calculator, okay, or you can multiply across the top. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we'll reduce that to 1/3. Okay? We could also use this in our calculator because you have a fancy fraction button in your calculator. Okay? I want you right now to take out your calculator and try using your calculator. You don't need to write this down. I want you to take out your calculator right now, okay, and try 1/2 times 2/3. Go ahead, get out of your bag and try the fraction button. Okay, number 10. All right, here we go. We have to change. The first fraction, you would leave it alone. The divide sign is going to change into a times sign. And -5/6 changes into -6/5. Okay? What's a positive times a negative going to be? The answer is negative. Now I got to figure out the fraction. Okay? Did you guys know that you could cancel numbers? Or you could do -1 times 6 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30, but now we're going to have to reduce this. If you use your calculator, I believe it automatically reduces it for you. The answer is -1/5. Okay, number 11. The first number stays the same. The divide changes into times. 1/3 has to change. We have to flip that into 3 or 3/1. A positive times a negative makes a negative, and the answer is 15. Okay. Let's do some more quotients by multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, I kind of showed you one way up here where it had the big bar. So first, you take your marker and you find the big divide bar. The big divide bar is this one right here. And we're going to write it the other way. 12. Let's write the divide sign with the dots. 12 has to get divided by 1/3. Okay? Now, the first number stays the same. Divide changes into multiply. And we flip this fraction. Flip the 3 and the 1 to make a 3. And 12 times 3 is... If you need to use your calculator, but put your answer right here. Put it right there. I'm going to walk around and check your work. Make sure you're doing it. Okay, number 13. Let's find the big divide bar. Here it is. 4 goes first. Instead of that divide sign, use the one with the dots. 4 has to get divided by 1/2. So we change. We change this kind of a divide bar. Change the divide bar into the one with the dots. That's what we're doing. Okay, now, how do you calculate division? The first number stays the same. Divide is the same as multiply. Reciprocal. 4 times 2 is, please put your answer on your paper. Here, sometimes it's down there, but now it's not. So we're going to say 6. The divide bar is going to change into the one with the dots, and we're going to write 2/3. Okay, how do we do this? The first number stays the same. Divide changes into multiply, and then we're going to reciprocate 3/2. Okay, if you need to use your calculator, you can. What number am I allowed to put right here? A 1. I'm going to multiply across the top. 6 times 3 makes 18. 1 times 2 is 2. Oh, but the final answer is, okay, put it on your paper. If you have any questions, ask me. I'm right here. Okay. How do we evaluate expressions when we have numbers? Okay, so we just have a top and we have a bottom. We're just going to be very careful here. So A is a 5. So A needs to go into the A spot, and the B is a 2. 2 needs to go into the B spot. Okay, so in our fraction, let's substitute in the 5. So don't write A plus 3. Let's write 5 plus 3. And don't write B in the bottom. Let's plug in a 2. Okay, we're going to evaluate for the given value. So I need to find the value. All right, let's clean up the numerator. So I want to write a simple numerator. 5 plus 3 is 8. And then we've got a 2. 8 divided by 2 is, go ahead and put your final answer on the paper. Okay, I feel like I'm a guide. I'm helping you get there, but I'm not telling you the final answer. Ooh, this one has negatives. So I'm going to be very careful here. So let's make sure we use parentheses. Okay, x is negative 4. Negative 4 needs to go in right there. So 2 times negative 4. Put your fraction. I'm not going to write this. That doesn't look like times. That looks like subtraction. So let's use parentheses. 2 times the negative 4. Good. Okay, don't write minus y. We have to substitute in a 2 right there. So let's say minus 2. Okay, and let's write the denominator. The fraction has a denominator of y. Oh, well, let's not write a y. Let's write the number 2. Okay, how do you do fractions? We're going to clean up the numerator, we clean up the denominator, and then the fraction is nice and simple. The first thing I think I'll do is multiplication. Negative 8 minus 2 over 2. Because a positive times a negative is a negative. All right, now we got to clean up the numerator some more. Negative 8 minus 2. You can go ahead and use your calculator with the negative button if you need. The answer is negative 10 divided by 2. All right, what's a negative divided by a positive make? Negative. Oh, put your answer in the box right there. Put your answer in the box. Don't leave empty boxes. Okay, we got a couple more of these division problems here. Maybe I'll get you started. The first one, we have to find the big divide bar. That's the small one. Here's the big one. Okay, and we change that to the one with the dots. So 14 has to get divided by 1/2. Okay, now how do we do this? The first one stays the same. Divide changes into multiply, and that's going to make a 2. And 14 times 2 is 28. Okay, I want you to try these last two, okay, and then you need to show me all your answers on your paper. Thanks.